Okay. So, one of the biggest contentions I had with building a kit car, which it is that there are parts from other vehicles that need to be borrowed to complete its construction. So I had a real problem with that, thinking I'm going to build a brand new, relatively highly expensive vehicle, and it's going to have old stuff on it. What the hell? Then I started realizing, well, what's the difference between the old stuff and the new stuff? So, with precision components, that's a problem. But when you're talking about something made of cast iron that is extremely rugged, it's not that much of a problem. And I'll tell you why. Because this part, for example, which I've cleaned, and as you can see this one hasn't been cleaned, and is as dirty as hell, while this looks absolutely horrible, the cast iron is absolutely intact. This stuff is rugged as hell. This is why they build drag engines for drag cars out of cast iron, because it takes a beating and a half and just doesn't move. It's why CNC mills are made of cast iron, because it's so incredibly rigid. As you can see with this one, it's already beginning to look much better than this, what seemingly seems like an old piece of crap, but it isn't. It's actually just dirty. The precision surfaces for the interior of the bearings is still good. It's got a little rust on it, but it's surface rust. When I take to it with a wire brush, it's still great. And I'm going to clean this up as well. This is going to look more like an aluminium part when I'm finished. Deliberately, only not to deceive anyone, but just so that because I like looking at nice parts. And as I was taking this off, because I'm going to have to actually beat this from the other side, you can see there that, and I've taken to it with a hacksaw already to cut the end off so I can get it out, because it's been cold pressed in. You'd probably wonder, will the ball joint on the end, after being fairly old, is it garbage? Should you replace them? And I thought about this. Now think of this. This boot does nothing other than keep the grease in. Like, I don't know, let's see if I can show you there, that ball in there doesn't do anything in relation to the rubber at all. So that's the part that will deteriorate. That is absolutely hardened high carbon steel. That's not going anywhere. Unless you get something in that's going to gouge at it, and that's not going to happen. All this is a movable mounting point that is fixed to make sure the geometry of the suspension is right. Now, think about this now. First thing I want to do is, well, we'll get rid of that, the rubber part that's going to deteriorate. But in reality, the part that really matters, the integrity of those surfaces of that ball joint, is completely intact. Nothing's gotten in there. It's full of grease, first of all. Even if it did slightly get in there, it feels really fluid. Do I need to replace it? Now, I will be replacing it. Only because I like to get things a little bit righter than they are, but it's no real need. This rather old piece, which will look $1 million after I'm finished with it, is one I started cleaning earlier. These are different. The mechanical function of this lower control arm is determined by the quality of the rubber here. So this gets affected, by the way, mostly by ozone, which begins to deteriorate the rubber. The whole point of this is to have this be a little bit supple, just a little bit. If not, you'd make them out of steel, but still pretty rigid. So these are pretty hardened at the moment. I can put a screwdriver in there and barely turn them. You should be able to get some flex. So these will be replaced. I supposedly need to burn them out and then have them put... I mean, I've got a bearing press, but it's going to be a problematic thing. I'll just grab an oxy torch and burn them out probably. These again, cast iron. Think of this. When the original vehicle was built, it had a sway bar. A seriously 1-inch thick sway bar attached to this ring. Look how thin that ring is. And there is not a sign of deformation whatsoever. That shows you how rigid this is. So when you've got the steering control onto here, something this size, this is bomb-proof. You could hit that with a sledgehammer, it wouldn't even move. So if you're questioning, geez, it's older parts, what kind of performance degradation am I going to get? With cast iron, virtually none. Virtually none. Honestly, you would have to take a micrometer to this and really figure out where it's gone wrong. And I cannot see how it will be, especially for a part like this. So if you're thinking you're going to get older parts and put them onto the same vehicle which you're going to put Brembo brakes onto, yes, that's correct. And that is because I'm paying attention to the science of the materials being used in their application, rather than just going, oh, I just want everything new, I just want everything new, I just want everything new. What I'm doing is I'm saying, where is the precision required and where is it just totally useless overkill? There's no need to get a brand new piece here. It'll be the same. It will be the same. That's just to let you know a little about what this decision was made, and when I started to apply logic and rationality to it, I realized there isn't any issue. Thank you very much. See you next time.